이젠 너무 선명해졌어 저 하늘 속에 낯선 그림자 아무도 심해질 수 없어
A woman around 27 years old named Leian was giving her idea in front of many employees during the board meeting of her company. Well, this should be our company's future plan. She presented her plan gracefully, which seemed to be accepted and appreciated by most of the members, but one person was against the plan. That person was the new CEO of the company, Taehyung. The man in his late 20s was not only her boss but also her ex-boyfriend, whom she left few months back without any explanation. I don't support this plan, but Mr. Kim, this is good. You call this trash plan of yours good, Miss Lee? Is your brain working or have you sell it to someone? But the way you work, I don't think even anyone wanna buy it. Vine looked down as her eyes almost became teary at his harsh insult. Taehyung's business partner, aka his best friend Jaemin, was also present there. He too felt like everyone that Taehyung was unnecessarily insulting Vine. Miss Lee, we expect a lot better from you. We know your potential, so do try harder. We are sure you can make much better presentation than this. Whereas many employees seemed to agree with Jaemin, Taehyung visibly let out a scoff. Wai nodded her head at Jaemin's words, whereas Jaemin didn't like Taehyung's behavior, so he thought to end the conversation there. I think for today it's enough. We will discuss remaining thing next day. For now, focus on the matters, Mr. Kim said. And Miss Lee, instead of being disheartened, do take Mr. Kim's words as constructive criticism and do come up with better presentations. I will, sir. Taehyung rolled his eyes, showing his visible disinterest. Thank you for your time. You all are dismissed now. Saying this, he got up and left from the room. Jaemin too followed him. Then, one by one, all employees went to their respective cabins. Later at Taehyung's office cabin. Don't you think you are doing too much now, Tae? Too much? As in what? You are insulting Vagin too much. Clearly today her presentation was good, but still you insulted her in front of everyone. You are being unprofessional now. Taehyung looked away from Jaemin and gritted his teeth. She deserves every bit of it. Jaemin ran his palms through his face. He then ran his fingers through his hairs while shying. When you wanted to confront her for leaving you suddenly, without telling you anything, I was the one who gave you the idea to buy the company she was working and became her boss to confront her, so that she couldn't ignore you anymore. Even if she wanted resignation after seeing you here, she had to serve notice period, and in that meantime you could have talked to her. This was my plan. But you, Taehyung, you are here in this company for weeks now, and I haven't seen you talking to her about your personal matter. All I had seen was you unnecessarily insulting her works. This is not right, Taehyung. Taehyung let out a visual scoff. How can I ask her why she left me when all she does is pretend, as if she met me here in this office for the first time? I expected an explanation from her, if not apology. But she, that woman, she behaves as if there was never a relationship between us. So, I have decided it too. I am not going to confront her till she actually behaves that yes, she had known me before I joined this company. I am not saying her to acknowledge me in front of everyone in the office as a person who was immensely in love with her at her some point. A person who wasn't the one to break our relationship. No, I'm not saying this. I am just saying she should acknowledge my presence as a person who deserves to know answers of her sudden breakup. When we are outside the office, in parking lot, in lift, in my cabin, when there's no other employees. Till she does this, I am going to treat her just the way I am doing. I am going to press her again and again. You do realize, right, that you are sounding very unreasonable? Then let me be unreasonable. We had years of relationship, years of. She ditched me when I took her to my parents' house. She ditched me at the last moment when every family member was inside waiting to meet her. At first, I felt humiliated. Then I felt maybe something was wrong with her health. I was damn scared, panicking badly, but there wasn't any response from her side. I called her numerous times. Then I decided to call her parents. But guess what? That same time I received a text from her saying why I am calling her. I should leave her alone. And later, during midnight, a simple freaking text saying she can't stay with me, she's breaking up with me. That's it. She blocked me from everyone. So let me be unreasonable. Let me be. Saying this, he looked away from Jimin. Two days later. What is this, Vian? You are again and again presenting me this of files. Even a child can do better presentations than you. The young CEO was scolding his employee who was his ex-girlfriend. Like past few weeks, today too, it wasn't much of a big mistake on her side. But still, he chose to scold her, insult her, because the reason him being angry on her was not all professional. It was personal too. He was angry at her for not coming to him about discussing why she left him suddenly. He expected a closure from her, if not apology. But even after working together for weeks now, she still haven't said a word regarding her sudden departure from him. Why are you still not talking about our relation? Even after pressing you so much, why are you still silent and behaving as if you have met me only a few weeks back? As your boss for the first time? Why are you behaving as if I was never your boyfriend? I'm sorry, sir. I will look after this matter again. Freaking how many times you... His words were cut off when he heard a familiar voice calling him while entering his cabin through the open door. Oppa! Both Taehyung and Vian looked at the source of the voice. A smile appeared on his face seeing the person standing there. That was his beloved little sister Kim Janet. Contrary to Taehyung, Vian's expression wasn't something one should have after seeing one's boss's sister. Her face became instantly pale. She gripped on her dress while she felt as if the room was too small to breathe. Janet, you here? Surprise! It's been a while, right? We spent time together, so I thought to make a surprise visit. Now don't tell me you were busy. Taehyung shook his head a little hearing his sister's words. You got lucky, Mongli. I am not that busy today. With a pout forming on her face, Janet came near Taehyung and said, Now don't call me that in front of your employee, Oppa. It's not fair. Janet's words seemed to remind Taehyung that Wyan was standing there too. His soft expression changed into cold one when he turned towards Wyan. "You can..." But before he could finish his sentence, he saw her leaving from the room without glancing at him. The file she brought before remained laid on Taehyung's office desk. Everything seemed to happen in a blink of an eye. Did she just leave the room on her own? How dare she disrespect my position like this? How dare she? First, she pretended as if I was never her boyfriend, only her boss. And now she disrespected the very same position she preferred me to stay in her life as. His jaw clenched and fisted his palm as he felt anger was rising in him. A muscle in his jaw visibly clenched. "Oppa, what happened? Why are you..." "Janet, you go home now. I have important things to take care of." Saying this, he left from the cabin, leaving a puzzled Janet there. But eventually she did what Taehyung told her, whereas Taehyung himself went to Wyan's office room to vent out his anger on her. Coming to her cabin, Wyan straight went towards her desk and sat on the chair. She then opened the laptop. She didn't even bother to lock the door. More precisely, she was too disturbed to think about this. While breathing heavily, she opened the laptop. With her clumsily fingers, she started to type in the keyboard. Work. She needed to work done. This was the only way she could cope up. She was so engrossed in her mind that she didn't notice, or more like try to ignore, that her boss was standing beside her while yelling her name. "What is this, Wyan? How can you leave from my cabin just like that? How dare you disrespect my position? How dare you?" He continued to scream at her, not only because she left from his cabin like this, but also because of his bolted up anger against her. He expected some reply from her. He demanded. But she didn't look at him. She did her best to not get his words into her head. With restless eyes, she looked at the laptop screen, which kept showing errors instead of the lines she was typing. "You know what, Wyan? It had become your habit to leave unannounced. Be it in your personal life or your professional life. You feel you don't owe anyone any explanation, especially me. Always running away. First you will make people habitual to you, make people dream things, make people imagine a life, then suddenly boom, you are not there anymore. You are the type of people who snatch the ladder after making other climb on the tree." Wyan's frustration was growing because the laptop screen kept showing error. She was typing again and again to fix it, but all was going in vain. "You know what? I will not go from here without getting answers. I will not go unless you tell me why you behaved like this now, why you left me months ago without saying anything. Today I need answers to why did you make me dream a life with you when your plan was to leave me in the middle? Why did you say you were now ready to meet my family, but when I took you to my house you left without any words? Why did you humiliate me like that in front of my family? Why did you block my number without any warning? Why did you ghost me after promising me a lifetime togetherness? Why did you make a fool of my love? What was my fault? Is there any fault at all, Wyan? Or you had found another man, better than me, richer than me? I need answers, Wyan. Tell me. Don't freaking stay silent. Tell me, damn it, he screamed while slapping the desk. Ryan couldn't take it anymore, neither his screaming nor the errors in the laptop. She abruptly stood up from the chair and, while shutting the laptop with so much force that she were gonna be broken, she threw the files which was on the desk. He got shocked seeing her sudden aggressive actions. His eyes widened seeing the scene in front of him. He stopped yelling, more precisely, his words were cut off by her screaming. "What do you wanna know, huh? What?" She screamed at him, which for a moment made him speechless. "You wanna know why I left from your cabin? Why I left from your life suddenly? Then listen. Listen if you can." She looked deep into Taehyung's eyes. "I'm scared of your sister, okay? I'm very scared of your sister." Ryan's lips trembled as she said that, whereas Taehyung's eyebrows got knitted hearing her words. "It's been almost 10 years since I met her. 10 long years. But still, I'm scared of her. Her face brings back memories she had implanted in me. Her face brings back the nightmares I'm trying to fight each day." Taehyung's eyes were filled with caution, whereas hers were with tears. "You fear my sister. You might not remember. Why would you, after all? You remember, Taehyung, once I told you I was severely during high school?" Taehyung's breathing became faster hearing her as he dreaded her choice of words. "Your sister and her whole group was my biggest..." Always mocking me, tearing my dress, snatching my food from the canteen, didn't give me any seat in the canteen, always giving me the corner seat in the classroom. Throwing ink on my shirts, not letting anyone talk to me in the class, not letting anyone give me class notes, not letting any student do group projects with me. Do you know how mentally traumatizing it was for a mere 16 years old girl who just got transferred to a new school via scholarship, who was for the first time living in a hostel away from her family? Do you know how lonely, how alone she became that time? How much anxiety she developed over such a short period of time? But guess what? That sister of yours and her whole group wasn't satisfied with only this. They started to physically me. They started to lock me in school washroom, throw dog poop on me, my bags, and Ryan gripped on the table as she felt as if she was experiencing the incidents again while describing them. And at last, they all took the cats too, who used to visit me on my hostel and stay with me. They took each and every cat I used to pet, my only source of comfort. They all took my cat mile away from me. Tears started to drop from her eyes that time. Taehyung's eyes were too wet hearing her traumatic experience. That was the last nail in the coffin. I became so scared, anxiety, depression, everything crawled inside me so deep that I stopped studying. The girl who liked to read stopped touching her books, stopped calling her parents because she wanted to express so much to them, but each time she tried, she couldn't, as horrible moments were the only thing she could remember. I stopped going to school too. I even tried to unalive myself, Taehyung. I did. His breath hitched hearing her. That day, my parents visited me because I wasn't replying or picking up their calls for more than a week. Only because they visited me that day, they found me attempting